Been on his private plane?
Yes.
You've been to stay on his private island?
Yes.
You've stayed at his home in Palm Beach?
Yes.
The Duke of York generating a new wave of questions in what has become a sea of speculation surrounding his ties to Epstein.
We are stepping into one of the most shocking twists in the long-running saga. Fresh claims suggest that the former Duchess of York is on the verge of signing a six-figure deal for a soul-bearing, career-defining tell-all interview. It could prove to be the most perilous appearance by any former royal since Andrew's catastrophic Newsnight collapse. American broadcasters are circling, palace insiders are quietly rattled, and Sarah Ferguson is said to be weighing up whether to sit on international television, take the check, and reveal what she claims to know about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's association with Jeffrey Epstein. This is not a light-hearted chat. It is not a charitable publicity tour. It is the kind of interview that could shift public perception.
Prince Andrew denied he ever saw his former friend with underage girls in a pointed and detailed interview with the BBC.
Do I regret the fact that he has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming? Yes.
Reopen long-buried questions and place Buckingham Palace on high alert. Because if Fergie goes ahead with a tell-all, she will be pressed on every shadowed corner of Andrew's past. Epstein, Virginia Giuffre, the cover-ups, the contradictions, and precisely what she saw or heard inside the royal bubble. Today we look at what's on the table for the interview, what she might say, what the palace fears, and why this interview could be the final breaking point for both Fergie and Andrew. According to Telegraph reports, Sarah Ferguson is actively considering multiple six-figure offers for an interview. The Sun and several outlets also claim that US networks are prepared to pay Sarah Ferguson a six-figure sum for one sit-down interview. Not a media tour, not a book promo, one single broadcast. Why so much money? Because the public wants answers that Andrew refused to give. And there is only one person who lived beside him through his controversies and might fill in the missing pieces. Fergie understands the family machinery. She knows the rhythms of the lifestyle, the excuses that were trotted out, the familiar patterns, and the inconvenient timelines. She was living at Royal Lodge with Andrew during the very years his most contentious associations were taking shape.
Unbecoming. He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite, in the sense that he was a sex offender.
Queen Elizabeth's son, who is 8th in line to the throne, was specifically asked about his 2010 visit to Epstein's Manhattan mansion.
For television producers, this is ratings gold, a royal detonation, a guaranteed global audience. And she is acutely aware that she needs the money. Her books were pulled from shelves, her speaking engagements evaporated, she lost her Duchess title after Andrew was stripped of his prince status, and now both of them are being removed from their 30-room residence by January. She is bruised, financially squeezed, and in desperate need of an image overhaul. Which is exactly why she is weighing the interview offers. Insiders say Buckingham Palace is quietly unnerved. Their concern is straightforward. Fergie has nothing left to lose. She is said to be deeply aggrieved by the way she and Andrew have been handled throughout the fallout. One palace insider suggested that the real danger lies in the possibility that she may go rogue, that she might disclose matters which could prove acutely embarrassing for King Charles, Queen Camilla, and other senior figures. And there is remarkably little they can now do to contain her. It is worth remembering that the last time a royal agreed to a heavily trailed interview, Andrew delivered an unprecedented calamity. The sweating explanation, the Pizza Express alibi, the peculiar remarks that made him a global punchline.
Always a pleasure to chat to you.
As I said, you've been pretty strong in what you've said in the past, that you think it's a very serious possibility that as more and more revelations come out about Prince Andrew.
The fear within the palace is that Sarah might produce her own version of this, not out of malice, but because she has a long-standing tendency toward emotional oversharing. The worry is not that she will fabricate, it is that she will speak too freely. Any interview she accepts would inevitably revolve around Andrew's relationship with the convicted sexual predator Jeffrey Epstein. She cannot avoid that topic. Why did she call Epstein a supreme friend? Why did she continue to interact with him after his conviction? These questions will not be softly phrased. Her past comments about Epstein placed her squarely in this story. She later claimed she only wrote certain things because he threatened to sue her, but the fact remains, she benefited from his wealth, connections, and financial generosity. If she tries to distance herself now, she risks contradiction. If she defends Andrew, she risks public outrage. If she hints at private conversations or palace knowledge, she risks sparking a new crisis. TV networks want exactly that tension, which is why they are willing to pay big money. This discussion arrives at a moment when Andrew is under scrutiny from US Congress. He was accused of hiding after snubbing a request to testify about his ties to Epstein. The House Oversight Committee gave him until the 20th of November to respond. He did not reply. This follows years of resisting attempts by American prosecutors and victims' lawyers to question him.
After the financier pleaded guilty to soliciting minors for prostitution.
Now, I went there with the sole purpose of saying to him that because he had been convicted.
Now imagine Sarah Ferguson going on television at the exact moment her ex-husband is being investigated by Congress. Imagine her being asked why he refuses to cooperate. Imagine her being confronted with questions about his denials. Imagine her being asked whether she believes the settlement with Virginia Giuffre was really about innocence or about avoiding court. The optics for Andrew would be catastrophic. Sources say Fergie sees this interview as her moment to rebuild her reputation. She believes she is innocent of any wrongdoing, and the public has judged her unfairly. And she believes she was punished simply because she was close to Andrew when the scandal erupted. Sarah relied heavily on Andrew for money, housing, and access. Even after the divorce, she stayed at Royal Lodge because Andrew's royal position allowed her to maintain a lifestyle she could not afford on her own. But with Andrew stripped of titles, Royal Lodge being taken away, and her income sources drying up, a controlled interview might be her way of repositioning herself as misunderstood rather than complicit.
It was inappropriate for us to be seen together.
Despite ending their friendship, Prince Andrew admitted he stayed with Epstein for 4 days.
We're staying at the house of
Yes.
a convicted sex offender.
The problem is that Sarah does not always stay controlled under pressure, which is why producers are eager and the palace is terrified. If Fergie sits down for this interview, insiders believe she will insist she knew nothing about Epstein's crimes or Andrew's alleged behaviour. She may portray herself as naive, as out of the loop, as someone who trusted the wrong people, as someone taken advantage of. She may claim Andrew kept his private matters separate from her. She may admit she cultivated Epstein's friendship because she needed money. She may even strategically position herself as a victim of circumstance rather than a willing participant. But the media will probe, and they will challenge every answer, which is exactly why her appearance could be explosive. Sources say Andrew is deeply uncomfortable with this interview idea, and for good reason. In fact, new reports claim that he has recently demanded that Sarah stay away from him, even though the two still share Royal Lodge. Insiders say the atmosphere inside that 30-room mansion is tense, fractured, and cold. Andrew reportedly wants space, privacy, and distance as he tries to manage the fallout from Congress, the loss of his titles, and the humiliation of being forced out of his home.
Yes, well, I mean, I think you probably skipped to the Middle East before that happens. But yeah, this is bad news for him. I mean, I never expected this to happen. I mean, the Trump administration have fought for years to suppress this material. They can see that for its sort of voting base.
He does not want Sarah Ferguson walking into a television studio and placing more pressure on him. A tell-all does not help him. It only pulls every scandal back into the public eye. It raises new questions about the years he claims he barely knew Epstein. It gives Sarah a platform to present herself as innocent, loyal, or misled. This interview threatens a fresh crisis for the monarchy at a time when they are trying to bury Andrew's scandals. For Andrew, it risks reopening every wound he has tried to close. If this interview goes ahead, it could be one of the most explosive royal events of the decade, and we will be breaking every update, every leak, and every twist right here on the channel. Leave your comments below, I read every single one. Do you think Sarah will go through with it? Will she tell the truth? Or is this headed for another royal disaster? Thanks for watching.